me, Briony Rose Smith, Land of Forbidden Library, and today it's Pompeii Day. But the spreadsheet's up, and my tracking is working again! Yay! We could wave, we can count, we can dance. We could do all the things. It's great. We're back. We're so back. We can put my hands on a desk that doesn't exist on stream. How great is that? She got movement! Yeah! Briony Rose arms! She's strong. She got arms. She can lift things that are invisible on stream. Apparently doing that makes everything go squiffy, so maybe. Hello everyone. Hello XNAM, hello Native Gamer, hello Normal Size Phantom, howdy howdy. Hello Nimby, hello Benjamin, hello Rahel, hello Red Eye. Welcome. As you can see, the spreadsheet is out, but I have a confession to make. She's now legally allowed to punch us. I could try. Did it hurt? I hope so. I hope it didn't. I don't want to hurt you. I went to get new glasses the other day, and the lady at the counter asked me how long till school starts. I didn't know how to say I haven't been to school in a decade. That's a hell of a compliment, though. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was that strong. I guess I need to control my strength better. Secret lore, I'm actually very strong. She's actually Kryptonian. Cheerleaders use Pompeiis when cheering. Pom-poms. Pompeian pom-poms. But that's a hell of a compliment you got there, Normal Size Phantom. Make sure I have acknowledged your messages. Yeah, I have a confession to make. Parasite Demon from Twin Peaks. The example that comes to me about that is like Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider O's, I can't remember the lady character's name, but the lady character's thing was that she was really weirdly strong. She was just an absolute beastly strong, but she was just small and cute. Regular shaved ghost is actually a vampire. Maybe. He says he wishes, but this could be a misdirect. My confession is that I haven't updated this spreadsheet in 3 weeks. And I only have one thing to add. I tried, okay? I tried. There's a book that I started, but I dropped it because I wasn't enjoying it. I got over halfway through, but I was just like, nah, I'm not having fun anymore, and life's too short for that kind of shit. I know, right? I did pursue the old stream concerning the continuity of this matter, and I did observe that the subject pertains to a certain mode of architecture. Shall this be akin to the stream today? Most certainly, Doppel, welcome. We will be continuing to read a book called Pompeii, Its Life and Art, where we will learn about ancient Pompeii and how the buildings went together, and you don't really need to read the rest of the book. Hopefully you just get some fun facts from what we get. But first we're updating my 10,000 books till freedom, and I only read one comic book in 3 weeks. But yeah, life's too short to read shitty books. Exactly! And I gave that book like half the book to like tell me. I was like vaguely interested, but it just, I don't know. I got to a point, the main characters were in danger, and all I could think of was, I don't care. And that's terrible. You can't be reading a book when that's how you feel like you're reading it. So that's part of my excuses. My other excuses is my job's been chaotic, and I just have not. Well, I have been reading a little bit, but just not as much. Not as much. I'm trying. Also, this is the real reason, actually. I got distracted by fan fiction again. Yay! Friday! Honkai Star Rail specifically. But yeah, I read the Fire and Ice series, which I'm probably dropping that as well, to be honest. My local comic book shop stopped stocking this series, so part of the reason I buy comic books there is because I want to support an independent shop. So if they're not stocking that anymore, then I ain't buying it, and I didn't love it enough to go look for it anywhere else, so who cares? I'm trying to read the Warhammer books again, the Infinite and the Divine. Downloaded it, Pirates of the Caribbean theme. Not ready yet, that's fair. Too many sandwiches to do with at work. Exactly, so many. I had a nice sandwich today. I had another egg and hash brown sandwich, but there were enough eggs to, like, cover the sandwich this time. So, I just had 2 extra hash browns on top anyway because it was tasty. Oh, you joined the book club? Yes! You're trying to read 1 horror book for each meeting. It's a spooky book club? Oh, that's gonna be fun. I hope you have a good time with that. Who would have thought starting a new job would be chaotic for a few months while learning everything there is to do and how to do it and who's who and what sandwiches to make? That's a lot. Shut up, Benjamin. Surely that only takes a few weeks, and I'm not someone who's notoriously bad at change and will totally be fine after like a few days and everything will go back to normal and I'll just be able to do everything I ever wanted to do and everything will be fine. Yeah, even I know that's silly, but my brain makes up bad expectations. And I know those expectations are wrong, but I do cherish the sandwiches. I do like me some sandwiches. I'm currently at the point in college where all I had for dinner was a cup of coffee, french fries, and an egg. An absolute peak time in your life, my friend. I missed out on that because I stayed at home during uni and college time. Because I knew that I wouldn't survive on my own. But I watched my friends go through it, and it was funny. At present, I find myself engaged in the composition of a romantic tale which, alas, demands considerable refinement, notwithstanding my labours for the past 4 months. Double! Writing is not easy. Editing is the worst. My best advice, don't bother editing it as you go. Wait till you've got it all down on paper. Get a first draft out, no matter what. I don't even check my spellings on my first drafts anymore, because you just need to write it. Editing, future use problem. Write it. You can polish a turd. But if there's no turd, there's nothing. It's got to exist before it can be polished. And that is the best advice I can ever give as a writer. I ran out of ingredients. The store was already outside. Make it hard to buy groceries. That's true. Same. I hate college survival stories, meanwhile. My grandma was stuffing me until I could move. Yeah, I just stayed home and I just had my parents cook me food and it was fine. Whereas I watched my friends not bother because they couldn't be asked washing up or no one had washed up. They ate their pizzas on top of the pizza boxes. They would just get it. They'd put the pizza in the oven without a baking tray or anything. And then they'd pull it out and they'd eat it using the pizza box as a plate. Mad lads. Oh, and pasta. My brother did go off to uni. And he lived off pasta. We buy him like those big bulk pasta things and he just lived off that. Pasta sauce I brought had rat tooth hole through. Oh no! That's not normal. That's not normal. That's not normal. Normal, says Phantom. Usually able to eat good since I cook, but the rat attack and the storm combo, oh no. But you went to house parties till 4 a.m, right? Just not at my house. Sometimes. I've never been a big party person, but I did have a time, as we all did. There must be an experience, but my house party time was short. I liked them though. I liked house parties. I liked house parties because, like, a lot of the ones I went to didn't get too out of control, and it was all people I knew, and I felt pretty chill. I liked one where it was a Halloween one. I find it rather amusing that thou doesn't liken writing to a form of excrement. But, yeah. It's Ernest Hemingway is the reason I do that. Because Ernest Hemingway said that the first draft of anything is shit. And he's correct. Therefore, your writing is poop. And it will be poop. Always. Your first draft will always be a giant turd. But no one has to see that giant turd but you. They won't see the turd form. They will see the polished, the nice form where you put air freshener on it and you stuck a bow on it and maybe you put some sparkles in it. Then they want to look at the turd. But until then, it is your turd and your turd alone. I did. I was going to say about Halloween party. And I went as a pirate, and a few people went as a pirate, so we had to have our competition as to who is the captain. And I won because I had the biggest hat. As is tradition. The importance of being Ernest Hemingway. Mm-hmm. Hemming Ernest away. Yes. Hemming nest Ernest way. Yes. Tomorrow money arrives, so I shall charge a storm buy groceries. I hope so. I was the pirate pope / the captain. This is my turd. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Yes, that is your turd. You can choose to polish it into something great, but at the beginning, it will always be a turd. Always. Biggest hat equals captain is fundamental pirate rules. It was, and I had the biggest hat. Therefore, I was the captain. Therefore, I could boss them around and get them to get me drinks. And it was great. It was a good time. Highly recommend if you're going to do a pirate for Halloween, make sure you got the biggest hat. Anyway, shall we read about some stuff? Dost thou engage in services of professional proofreaders to scrutinise thy manuscript, or dost thou undertake thy editing thyself? I highly recommend, if you have the cash to do so, I highly recommend you do. I don't. I do, however, have a lot of friends that are self-proclaimed grammar Nazis. So, I send it to them. If you can't afford proofreading services, my best option after that is just to get as many eyes on it as possible. I always do the first and second draft myself. Then I'll send it to one friend who's more of a narrative critique than anything else, to go like, does this all work narratively together? And they go like, yep, great. And then I'll give it maybe a once over if they've given me any more feedback on that. And then I'll send it to a friend who is the self-proclaimed grammar Nazi. He spent a lot of his time doing spell checking for his mum on documents and stuff like that. So he's very good at that kind of stuff. And he does like to read as well, and he's happy to do that for me. So I send it to him, and he gives me loads of errors to correct. And then I do those corrections, maybe give it one more once over, and then ready to go for me as far as I'm concerned. Many eyes. You've got to get many eyes on it. Oh, I also get my fiance to look at it. Yeah, that's also something I do. So I get 3 people to look at it outside of me. I would never trust editing to myself and myself alone. Will Pirate Captain Briony ever appear on stream? I don't know. Maybe for Halloween. Maybe we could do a pirate-themed Halloween costume. I think we did have the option of a pirate outfit when we did the subathon. And I could probably find a very easy 3D pirate outfit. Witches, cowboys, and pirates are the same species. They just diverged and they picked different skills on the skill tree. Big hat, magical stick, and a lousy bow. Cool ride, funny, and a funny liquid that does magic. Yeah, that's true. They just picked skills in the skill tree. Different aesthetics, different flavors. But first, this. Hello, Haunted Story. Hello, chat new guy here. I'm here for history. So, very newbie cool here. Wow. You're just in time, because I've just been yapping for the last 20 minutes. She checks her imaginary watch. And I'm literally about to just get into some history. So, wonderful timing. We're going to learn about the kitchen, the bath, and the storerooms of ancient Pompeii. Let's go. In the Pompeian house, the kitchen had no fixed location. It was generally a small room and was placed wherever it would least interfere with the arrangement of the rest of the house. The most important part of the kitchen was the hearth. It was built of masonry against one of the walls. It was oblong, and the fire was made on the top. The cooking utensils sometimes rested on rectangular projections of masonry. Cooking utensils sometimes rested on rectangular projections of masonry, as in the kitchen of the house of Pansia, sometimes on small iron tripods, as in the house of Veti. The hearth of the latter house was found undisturbed, with a vessel in place ready to be heated. In one house, the plate of an iron tripod was taken by 3 pointed ends of amphora, set upright on the hearth. Underneath there was often a hollow space, like that shown in our illustration, in which fuel was kept, as in similar openings under the hearths of Campanian kitchens today. So this is our hearth. So our hearth wasn't like an open fire, it was the oven. Amphore, thank you. That is the one problem you have, Hunted, is that I am very bad at pronunciation of some things, so feel free to correct me at any time. Welcome to the Briony cult. We try to eat the streamer from time. Yeah, whenever I get my chibi model out, they all are just like, tasty chibi, and I'm like, chibi's too sweet for you, stop it. It's a goof. They're weirdos, but they're my weirdos, so it's fine. Ampere, yes, tasty figs. Salutations, dear newcomer. I too am a recent arrival in this esteemed company. I find her to be of great interest. She's also a scribe. Get to myself. By scribe, he means writer. I have written some books. I've written 4 books, a collection of short stories, and a short story. Yeah, officially published. Listen, it's either eat the chibi or abuse the chibi. You gotta have one. You guys do both. Sometimes we find near the hearth a bake oven, not large enough to have been used for bread, but evidently intended for pastry. Bread must ordinarily have been obtained from the bakers. In one of the cellars of the house of the Centenary, there is a larger oven. Leave the chibi alone. Thank you, Hunted Story. You're my favorite now. See, someone's nice. In one of the cellars of the House of Centenary there is a larger oven, which may have been used to bake coarse bread for the slaves. The heat was utilized in warming a bath above. Over the hearth was a small window to carry off the smoke. As the kitchen was ordinarily high, there may have been a hole in the roof also, but the upper parts have been destroyed, as their arrangement cannot be determined. From the small size of the kitchens and the hearths in even the largest and finest houses, we may infer that the luxury of the table prevalent in the early empire had made only slight progress at Pompeii. They didn't get in on that whole table nonsense. Always had us off up for the chibi. Yes! He hasn't seen the chibi yet. To be fair, I haven't used the chibi in a long time. I should be using the chibi at some point. I got a little scared when Twitch started changing its rules and getting a bit strict. But like I said, maybe we should do a YouTube only and get the chibi out again. But you did see 2 baked potatoes. That's true. We have done baked potatoes. No! Close by the kitchen, frequently forming part of it, and next to the hearth, was a closet A separate closet of good size is found in the houses of the Faun and of Castor and Pollux. So it's the hearth and the kitchen in the house of Veti. Oh, specifically in the house of Veti, that one. Hello, Red Roach. -3, without a table. Funny thing about the Pompeii cooking culture is that we have found evidence of something akin to restaurants that sells food and an outdoor style. Ooh, fascinating. I hope this gets pointed out in this. I mean, Pompeii did have fast food, so maybe there was a table, I suppose. Probably was, but maybe not in the same style as the rest of the empire at the time. In many large houses, there is a bath, generally too small to have been used by more than one person at a time. These baths ordinarily include only a tepidarium and a caldarium, but occasionally there is an apoditarium. Less frequently. So this was a warm bath, a hot bath, and a... Was that the cold bath? I don't think that was the cold bath. Must have been, though, because that's kind of the only one left. Less frequently, still. Oh, that's the cold bath, the frigidarium. So, oh, was that the changing room? Fellow Pompeii Noahs. Yes! I love having Pompeii Noahs in the chat. We love having history, people. Less frequently, still, a small frigarium. In most cases, a basin in the apoditarium or tepidarium must have been used for the cold bath. The heating arrangements are still similar to those found in the public baths, and more or less complete according to the period in which the bath was fitted up, and the taste of the proprietor. A progressive refinement in the appointments of the private baths can be traced similar to that which we have already noted in the case of the Stabian baths. The close relation generally existing between the bathrooms and the kitchen is well illustrated in the house of the Faun and the Silver Wedding. Fascinating. Man of culture. At present I employ most useful application known as Google Docs to compose my narrative. Perchance thou possess a superior application that thou dost typically utilize for electronic writing? No, I do not. I simply use Word. Nothing fancy. We use a bit of Grammarly for spell checking and grammar checking, but again, if you're on first draft, don't bother. Dost thou prefer to inscribe thy thoughts by hand upon parchment? I do prefer to brainstorm on paper, that's for sure. I have like sticky notes on my wall about the plot and future plots, and I like doing that. I like having a bit of a mood board on my wall. They will farrow for bread and some fish. Kind of funny to find graffiti in a gladiator wrestling room being like, I baked bread today! Ugh, but who isn't proud of baking bread? Bread's hard. Well, unless you have a bread maker. Bread maker makes it easier. In connection with this group of rooms, we may mention the storerooms, which are found in various parts of the house and may be identified by the traces of the shelves that were fastened to the walls. Comparatively few houses were provided with cellars. In the house of the Centenary, however, there are two. One, entered from the atrium by a stairway, extends under the tablinum and the front colonnade of the peristyle. The other is accessible from a side atrium and is divided into several rooms, not into two several rooms. In one of which is the oven mentioned above. The cellar belonging to the house of Caelius Jundicus is under the garden. That of the house of Diomedes will be described later. The shrine of the household gods, very important. Real authors write their stories by self-texting themselves each line in the airport. Someone's done that somewhere. Breaking bread is better than fighting in the Colosseum. True. Bread was really hard to make until people discovered yeast. Yeah, that's also true. I would build stories in my head and completely forget about them immediately the moment my focus is broken and never write them down. That's why I have the post-its on the wall, because I don't have an idea, and then I need to write it down, and then it has to go on the wall. What could I say? Teens being rebellious since day one, graffitiing their youth away. We love it. Have you seen on like TikTok the lady who makes songs out of graffiti on bathrooms? Us bro, us. Never suggesting something I've tried. Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea. Why didn't you just open an email? Email yourself. I don't know. I guess maybe you didn't have email at the time. With this old school phone, you like didn't have anything but text. Oh my god. They had notes at. You could make notes on an old phone like that, right? Right? Can we? It's been a long time since I thought about a phone like that. Sadly, my country is bonked TikTok away. Oh, well, my country's not far from that. Sad times, hunted, sad time. Maybe you can find it on YouTube. You've got YouTube, clearly. I express my heartfelt gratitude for the wise counsel extended to one such as I, an inspiring scribe. I hold all your esteemed suggestions close to heart, striving to bring my writing to completion. Yeah! Well, I'm always happy to answer questions, and my writing ways does not always work for everyone, but I do hope whatever I can give out helps. We hopes, we dreams. I would like everyone to live their writing dreams if they can. Oh, if you ever get time, look up Pompeii graffiti. It shows the everyday life of common Romans and not the overly poetical words of nobility. Wonderful! The shrine of the household gods. I use a notepad for usually writing poets and feelings down. Just in case. Just so that that's smart. That's smart. That's looking after you. That's journaling. That's very good for your mental health. Well done. Very, very smart. I try to do that more often, but then I still let them overload me. But you know, we learn. We make mistakes in our mental health journeys, and we try to do better. The shrine of the household gods. The lares. The lares. See, this is where, so we just played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, educational mode, discovery tour. And when we got to the Shrine of the Household Gods, there was no description of the lares. They talked about a version of Zeus, which was the Zeus of the fence, which maybe is one of the lares, but, like, the fact that it never mentioned them when this book heavily mentions them, I'm very interested. The evil lares, yes, the evil lares. Zeus queso, yeah, Zeus cheese. Zeus cheese, I believe, was... He wasn't the fence Zeus. The fence Zeus was a different Zeus. Cheesy Zeus was something else. I can't remember. In ancient Italy, each household worshipped its guardian spirits and tutelary divinities, which formed a triple group: the lares, the pentates, and the genius. In Pompeii, the remains associated with domestic worship are numerous and important. God of Tex-Mex food. Yeah. Many Pompeians painted representations of the household gods upon the inner wall, often upon a wall of the kitchen near the hearth. There was usually a painted altar underneath, with a serpent on either side, coming to partake the offerings. In a large number of houses, a small niche was made in the wall, in which were placed little images of the gods, the lares, and the genius, being also painted on the back of the cavity or on the wall at the sides or below. Such a niche may be seen in the corner of the kitchen in the house of Apollo. Ah, and you got the stick. The pictures of the gods are almost obliterated, but that of the serpent, in this case there is one, and of the altar can clearly be seen. In front is a small altar of masonry. The ferns and grasses with which the floor is carpeted make this kitchen in summer an attractive nook. Sometimes the niches were ornamented with diminutive half columns or pilasters at the sides and a pediment above. The other source of everyday person writing, but for medieval times, is Novgorod Birch writings. That one had a child's incomplete homework, complete with doodles from 800 years ago. Oh my god, that's amazing. Fun fact, the entire Greek mythology could have been avoided if only Zeus had decided to keep his family problems in his past. Yes, correct. It also had a tragic series of letters of a woman sending shirts to her husband in a war, then followed by letters about her preparing for a funeral for said husband. Aww. That is quite sad. I can't believe they were sketching yaoi 3,000 years ago. Wait, I don't look at... Of course they were! 3,000 years... The yaoi will endure. The yaoi will always endure. It will. Even if they try ban it everywhere. Like they're trying to in the UK. Why is she leaning? I'm leaning, apparently. Frequently, a more elaborate shrine was provided, a diminutive temple raised on a foundation placed against a wall of the atrium or of the garden. An example is the one at the rear of the peristyle in the house of the tragic poet. Oh, this one was quite far in. But there's the example, like the mini temple. Now we have to find our way back. That was quite far in. We were 47% of the way through. You never know with these figs. You never know how far. I think we were more like 43, you know. 45, 44. Also, I'm sorry, I do kind of have the sniffles. I've been suffering a little recently. In rare instances, a small separate chapel was devoted to the domestic worship, and in the house of the centenary, in a house of the 9th region, there is such a chapel in the garden, a niche for the images being placed in the wall. Oh! Does your reading tool have a Control F function? I don't know, does it? It does! We should copy something whenever we're going to click on it. Then we can search for that to get back. That's smart. Benjamin, you're a smart cookie. They were sketching more than yaoi, my friend. God save civilization. My Fate fandom senses always go off at things. It's great. I love being like Fate is like half the reason. Most of my historical fun facts come from Fate. You have a fever, howdy? Oh my gosh, you should be eating better. Make sure you buy some orange juice for yourself then when you go out. Guaranteed things in civilization. Death, taxes, yaoi. Yes, correct. You have a crippling gambling addiction. Does that count? That's pretty bad. Probably shouldn't be playing gachas then. So the kitchen in the house of Apollo, underneath, a painted serpent is represented as about to take offerings from the round altar. In front is a square altar for domestic worship. Spoiler, everyone is edible. No. No one is edible. We don't eat people. You are technically edible, but don't do it. No. Cannibalism is bad. Is this what happens when we don't have the chibi for a long time? You guys get so hungry you start trying to eat each other. I've been in the Fae fandom for 6 years. Oh, my sweet summer child. I watched Dean's Stay Night as my first introduction to the Fate universe. I think it was technically Fate Zero. Then the History by Heart. I can't wait for Fate Extra Record, but apparently that's been delayed till next year, which is sad. That's right. Only eat chibis, because chibis are people! Chibis are people. I will fight you. You know that I have super strength now. I'll break both your arms. You were lucky enough to start with 0. 0 is a good place to start. Been in the Warhammer fandom, says anything is food if it breathes or not. Luckily, we're not one. I was there for the visual novels, dolphins, worms, funny dragons. Yeah, I've done the Fate route in the visual novel. I'm a little scared to get to Heaven's Feel, like, not gonna lie. I've considered doing it on stream, you know, like the non-horny version. I do have the OG visual novel though. And I have seen things. The Lairs are the guardian spirits of the household originally, but one was worshipped in each house. They began to be honoured in pured multiples after the time of Cicero. And at Pompeii, we invariably find them in pairs. They are represented as youths clad in a short tunic confined by a girdle, stepping lightly or dancing, with one hand high uplifted, in which a drinking horn, a rhyton, is seen. From the end of the horn a jet of wine spurts in a graceful curve, falling into a small pail, or into a libation saucer, held in the other hand. Oh, so they were like, yeah, party! Do not do the OG for the love of... Oh yeah, no, I know, I would never do the OG on YouTube, I swear, never, ever, ever. I would get the version they put on Steam, because that's the non-horny version from what I know. You were unfortunate to start from the beginning of the Tsukihime cast! Oh lordy, I don't know much about that side of things. I only know bits of it because of Carnival Phantasm. Kimita, Kimita, I love this. Party all the time, party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. Yeah. My intro to Fate was Studio Dean anime, which was not the best intro. Thankfully, stuck around long enough for Zero. Yeah, I luckily fell in love with Saber, so it was fine, and I was very happy with it. The people who got in from Melty Blood, honestly, impressive. They added the updated Avalon ending, then Saber route adaptation could be good. Yeah. In Fate fandom, 3 words hold very sacred. Don't worry about. So you want the long version or the short version? That's the Giggle video. I remember that. Holy Grail Battle Royale time, baby. Yeah. Good phrases for the Fate fandom. Simple offerings were made to these beneficent spirits, fruits, sacrificial cakes, garlands, sacrificial cakes. What's the difference between a normal cake and a sacrificial cake? Is it because you would want to eat the cake, but you have to sacrifice it? Because it's a cake! You'd never want to throw away a cake, so I guess you make a not very good cake to sacrifice because then, like, you don't want to eat it. Garlands and incense. And at every meal, a portion was set aside for them in little dishes. When a sacrifice was offered to the Lairs, the victim was a pig. With the worship of the Lairs was associated that of the genius. the tutelary divinity of the master of the house. He is represented as a standing figure, the face being a portrait of the master. So you literally worship the master of the house. So, like, the patriarch of the family, I assume is what that means. A sacrificial cake is when you kill a person with a very large butt. That makes sense. Sacrificial cake has the holy, godly, gadget, divine protection of gluten-free thing. That too makes sense. You ate my sacrificial cake. I put whole medicine cabinet into it. Nope. The sacrificial cake. So the sacrificial cake is what you poison to sacrifice someone? Maybe. Instead of stabbing the cake with a knife, a sacrificial cake is stabbed by a ham. You be the sacrificial lamb, will you eat the sacrificial cake? I can understand it if you sacrificed it, so it's a sacrificial cake. Very rarely we find a representation of the genius of the mistress. Genius of the mistress of the house of the mistress of the house of the fish. The toga is drawn over his hand. I just realised I skipped a bit, so we're going back. The toga is drawn over his hand after the manner of one sacrificing. In the left hand there is usually a cornucopia, sometimes a box of incense. With the right hand he pours a drink, offering from the patera. Pray, what counsel dost thou offer to an individual behest by the most vexatious affliction of writer's block? For me, what sometimes works is I tell myself I just have to write a sentence. Or I'll just write for 5 minutes. And then by the time that 5 minutes is up and I have the sentence, I feel like I can do a little more. And maybe a little more. And maybe a little more. And then maybe I get a bit more done. Sometimes, maybe. But as someone who is notoriously afflicted with said writer's block, I can't say it always works. There is the Holy Grail word 5 Yes, as much as it is fun to mention fate, I do appreciate, Hunted Story, your awareness of taking the topic too far from the stream. 10 out of 10 awareness. Very rarely we find a representation of the genius of the mistress of the house. In one painting she appears with the attributes of Juno. The genius of a woman was often called Juno, as in the inscription on the bust stone of Tychel, the slave of Julia Augusta. As a man might swear in the name of his genius, so a woman's oath might be, by my Juno. Write out in big bold letters, and that's it. I mean, if you even write that, that's one more word than you had before. You just gotta make it a bit smaller. Aim small and then grow. That's also a good comment from Red Roach. Expose yourself to more media, get inspiration, or indignation that will drive your writer's block with a new chisel. Yeah. Smart. Briony, I hope by my Juno now enter your vocabulary on the regular. I will try. By my goddamn Juno. Just start off with a random do which branches after a godly law. That's how I kind of do it. Like, my whole book series started... No, that is also off topic. I really should just do a just chatting stream and let you guys take me wherever we want to go. Such is my usual practice. I indulge in the viewing of moving pictures and the listening of melodies pertinent to my narrative, albeit occasionally requires a measure of time. Yes. Go to a marble statue with a hammer and a chisel, just tap it at once and your block will disappear. Magical chisel statues. Oh god, we wish. Come with me and we'll be in a world of pure imagination. La 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 la. Yeah, you guys do. We've barely read any of this. I've just been wanting to chat more than I have wanting to read. This is a reading stream. I'm supposed to read, but I also want to just like chat shit with you guys. But reading, but this is a hard balance. This is streamer skill, but I guess I'm only just learning. We'll get there though. We'll get there. I'm gonna write one. I'm gonna read the rest of this page, and I'm not gonna acknowledge you guys during that time. Ha! Bye. The layers of the genius are often found together, both in the hearth paintings and the groups of little bronze images frequently placed in the shrines. They are associated also in an inscription on the shrine in the house of Epidus Rufus, to the genius of our Marcus and the layers dedicated by his two freedmen with the names of Diademinus. Marcus was the first name of the head of the household. In a few cases, the genius of the emperor seems to have reverted at a house shrine. Horace speaks distinctly of the worship of the tutelary divinity of Augustus in connection with that of the Lares. On the rear wall of a little chapel in a garden is a painted altar, at the right of which stands Jupiter, at the left Genius, each pouring a libation. We can scarcely believe that the genius of an ordinary man would be thus placed, as it were, on an equality with the ruler of heaven. More likely, the genius of an emperor is represented, perhaps that of Claudius. The face is not unlike the face of Claudius, and the painting is on a wall decorated in the third style. In another house, two genii are painted, and under one of them is scratched in large letters EXSC, undoubtedly for ex-senatus consulto, in accordance with a decree of the Senate. We are probably safe in assuming that the decree referred to is that of the reign of Augustus, by which the worship of the Lares was regulated. If so, the figure is intended to represent the genius of that emperor. Ooh, fig. Fig is a good time for a break. Chatters. What's going on with you guys while I read that? +5 stream skill level up. I know. I don't think I've ever like been in this situation where the chat moves at this point where it's been a tricky thing to do until now. No, my parasocial need for acknowledgement by anime girls. Ha 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 ha. You're at my mercy for that. Alright, so while she's distracted by the book, can we steal a chimney to eat them? No, you can't! Speaking of Magic School Bus, there's a scene where Mrs. Fritz turned the kids into fish eggs. That's terrible, and I'm not finishing reading that comment. Crusader, everything is better with batter and deep break. No! No! Revered, like praised, revered, is that what it said? Oh, I'm a smart cookie sometimes. Benny knows exactly what a Texan would say. This bears resemblance to pedagogue engaged in discourse upon a particular matter, whilst the scholars, in their boisterous manner, converse on unrelated subjects. As long as everyone's having fun, that's all that matters, doesn't it? Deep frying something. No, don't deep fry things. I know, right? You might be. I don't want you guys to zoom. That's scary. One day you might. The closest I've gotten to zooming is a couple of Ruiner streams, and I've just like let them go at that point. Maybe we should all talk like we have a thesaurus. No, don't, please. Doppel gets away with it. But if you all talked like that, I'd have a time. Hello, Longus. Grongus. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Thesaurus torture, please no. Right, yeah, so this was the shrine in the house of Veti in the middle of the genius. In the middle, the genius, with the libation saucer and a box of incense. At the sides, the two lairs, each with a drinking horn and pail. Below, a crested serpent about to partake in the offerings. Why do the snakes collect the offerings? Is it a Mercury thing? Is it like one of their snakes, so they collect the offerings and deliver them? Is that it? I don't know. It was just one of the Hello, Longus. Fuck 'em. It's just one of the sounds that Twitch gave me to use. Therefore, maybe it was glass breaking. They broke into my follow account. A conundrum, indubitably. Snake might be a Helios thingy, maybe, but why do the snakes partake in offerings? I don't know if this book is gonna explain this to me. The classic shenanigans of Greek mythology. But this is Roman, which is kind of the same, but not. BRB gonna Google if snakes can get drunk. It's important knowledge. Verily, such vivacious vocabulary for a VTuber video shall be very vibrant, voila, vying for views. I love it. The face of the genius in the house of Veti bears a decided resemblance to that of Nero. Here, the shrine was placed in the rear wall of the smaller atrium. It consists of a broad, shallow niche, the front of which is elaborately ornamented to give the appearance of a little temple, while on the back are painted the household divinities. The genius stands with veiled head between two lairs, holding in his left hand a box of incense and pouring a libation with the right. In the original painting, the features were usually distinct. The penitates were the protecting divinities of the provisions or stores, and the storerooms of the house. Under this name were included various gods to whom the master and the household often offered special worship. At Pompeii, the penitates, as the lairs and the genius, appear in paintings, and are also represented by bronze images placed in the shrines. In the shrine of the house, the Lucratus, where diminutive bronze figures of the genius and of Jupiter, Hercules, Fortuna, and other divinity that has not been identified. Statues of Apollo, Asclepius, Hercules and Mercury were found together with those of the two Lares in another house. In a third, Fortuna alone with the Lares. Jupiter and Fortuna are frequently met with the shrine paintings, as well as Venus, Pompeii, Hercules, Mars, and Vulcan, as a personification of the hearth fire. Vesta, the patron goddess of bakers, usually appears in the hearth paintings of a bake shop. Vesta is basically kinda Hestia, isn't she? V for virtual woman. V for videos. You're not wrong with the tomato. They can't. Alcohol kills them? No! Unrelated, but snakes can get stoned. We've learned extra things today. Thank you, Longus. Went off on a bit of tangent. It sounds like a fun tangent to be on. Go for it. Be tangenty. Learn things. Useless information is the spice of life. But baking bonkers broad back. Why are you giving me tongue twisters? But baking bonkers broad big bags of beloving baguettes bad and baleful barrages of bunked ideas. Vesta versus Venus, who will be virtuous victor, who will be the villainous vanquished. Alert, assassins at large, angrily aiming aggressively. Oh my god. Bro, I was studying and putting this in the background. I'm multitasking procrastination! No! Get to your studies, Longus! Close that thing about snakes and study what you're supposed to study! I will not be the cause of you failing anything. Get your ass into your textbooks right now! Jupiter and Fortuna. No, I said that one. Underneath the representations of the Lares and the Penitates ordinarily are painted two serpents, one on each side of an altar, which they are approaching in order to partake of the offerings. These consist of fruits, in the midst of which an egg or a pine cone can usually be distinguished. As early as the beginning of the empire, the significance of the serpent in the Roman worship had ceased to be clearly understood. Virgil represents Aeneas as in doubt whether the serpent which came out of the tomb of Actidibe is attendant of the father or the genius of the place. Oh, so is that it? Is that why we have Schnick? A very interesting question. Who's more powerful, Hercules or Solomon? That's a hard question. We're battleboarding. I mean, like, physically stronger, Hercules, but, like, Solomon was really smart. I mean, wasn't Solomon's whole thing, like, I'ma chop a baby up? But he didn't actually chop the baby. Hercules, because he's more marketable as a Disney film? Not wrong. I loved that movie. Hercules, did. Oh, fine dream, a far off place. Ba 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 ba. I wish I could sing Disney songs. I wish I could break into Disney songs. Samson has a very clear weak point. Hercules doesn't. That's true. No, Samson you said, not Solomon. Sorry, I completely misread what you were saying. I don't know. That's again harder. I would probably say Hercules because, like I said, Samson's got his very clear weakness. Hercules does not. Solomon did seal in a bunch of demons. It came down to it. Hercules can deploy the power of marketable plushie. Action figure. Solomon was a king of Israel, son of David. Samson was the strongest. Samson was in a recent Fate game. I remember he was in a recent Fate game. Fate Samurai Remnant. Highly recommend, it's good. I feel like Muso games. I need to go back and play it. There's 2 endings and I've only done 1 ending so far, so eh. One second, I need to blow my nose, and as much as I've let you hear me sniffle, I don't want you to hear this. No, Samson, the dude who's super strong, and he was supposedly pretty much invincible, as long as he didn't cut his hair. That was the thing. So he couldn't cut his hair. I'm talking about the same Solomon here. He went from Greek to ours. Go to in a second. I don't know. We got a little confused because I got confused. So I confused you guys. So we confused me and we've confused everyone. Why does it boil down to Fate at last? Because I told you most of my history knowledge is from Fate. You mentioned history things. I'm gonna talk about Fate. You baited me. Hercules could defeat him with Hercules scissor merchandise. Yeah! In Pompeian... I think we just saw that. Did we read that? Or did we not? Was it this bit? We did the publications of the Geni. In Pompeian paintings, when a... Yes, I did read that. Maybe? I'm confused. Hello, Zianta. Welcome. In the Pompeian paintings, when there are... I'm going to read it, because I don't think I did read that. In the Pompeian paintings, when a pair of serpents occurs, one may usually be recognized as a male by the prominent crest. They were undoubtedly looked upon as personifications of the Geni, the master and mistress of the house. When a single crested serpent appears, as in the shrine paintings of both the house of Veti and the house of Apollo, we were to understand that the head of the household was unmarried. Oh! So you got an extra snake on your altar when you got married. I see. I heard Solomon was born on Monday, but no! It's not technically wrong, but yes, but no, but no, but yes, but no. I mean, I do indeed talk about Lancelot sometimes, but wait, he's getting by a girl version of King Arthur. Yeah. You have a bachelor degree in biblical stories? Fascinating. Samson was strong because he took the oath of Nazarite. The long hair was one part of the oath. He only lost his strength when he had broken all parts of the oath. Oh, Benjamin's got a degree in something fascinating. Wait, Briony was reading. I thought the whole time she was... Yeah, I'm just been napping, obviously. Snake is a paid actor, yes. Nazarites promised to abstain from wine and strong drink to avoid corpses and not cutting their hair. Oh. So they had to get him pissed too. Oh, that means I could take the oath and get super strength? Yes, but you're not allowed to drink. You have to avoid corpses and you can never cut your hair again. Them the rules. Second story rooms. Now we know from Assassin's Creed that the second story rooms were mainly used as the women's rooms. Let's see if Rome was the same. With few exceptions, the houses of pre-Roman Pompeii were built with only one story. Where the peristyle was in 2 stories, there must have been rooms opening upon the upper colonnade. In Roman times, as the population of the city increased and more space was needed, it became common practice to make rooms about the atrium lower and build chambers over them. A complete second story was rare. Small rooms were added here and there, frequently at different levels and reached by different stairways. Sometimes the second story on the front side projected a few feet over the street. An example may be seen in a house in the 7th region, the front of which, with the part projecting over the sidewalk, has been carefully rebuilt by placing the charred remains of the ancient beams with new timbers. Houses with 3 stories were quite exceptional, and the rooms of the 3rd floor must have been important. Along the steep slope of the hill, on the west and southwest side of the city, a number of houses are found that present the appearance of several stories. They are not properly classed with those just mentioned, however, for the reason that the floors are on terraces, the highest at the level of the street, the others lower down and further back, being adjusted to descend of the ground. From the time of Plautus, second-story rooms were designated as dining rooms. Varro says that after it became customary to dine upstairs, all upper rooms were called cenacular. This explanation is not altogether satisfactory because other literary evidence for the prevalence of such custom is lacking. Perhaps in earlier times, when on account of the introduction of the compulvium and impulvium, the atrium ceased to be convenient and comfortable for the serving of meals. A dining room was frequently constructed on an upper floor, and, being the principal second-story apartment, gave its name to the rest. In some places, the ancient custom may still have lingered in the time of the early empire. Oh, so they just started eating upstairs, and then all the rooms upstairs got named after being upstairs, being the dining room. Every room is the dining room upstairs. We all eat upstairs. No more eating downstairs, guys. You have to eat upstairs. So don't take a job for dead people. Correct. The UN custom is called lacking. Petty the platypus style? Interior of a house with a second-story dining room opening on the atrium. Ooh, very nice. Every room is the dining room. That's how I... Why does it think I lean so? Is your bedroom a dining room too? Is it upstairs? Yes. According to this, according to Pompeian-style houses, yes. Your bedroom is a dining room. Is your bathroom a dining room? Yes. Yeah, I got the lean. I don't know why it's making me lean so, but, you know, we be leaning. No one do a posture check right now, please. We can't be doing that. There is no posture. Posture's for nerds. The upper part of the Pompeian houses, in most cases, have been completely destroyed. In a few, however, there are traces of a second-story apartment that was probably used as a dining room. I knew someone would do it as soon as I bloody... I told you not to. I told you not to. How dare you? So rude. How dare you make me sit properly? With your I need to make posture check more expensive. It's rude. It's an attack on my being. Also, don't forget to hydrate. I do have water. I have been sipping. Sippity sipping. My bedroom is a dining room, and all the ants agree with me. Beak. Your attic is also a dining room. It's upstairs. Yes, it's a dining room. Correct. The water sounds a lot like vodka. It's definitely water. Vodka sounds different. And I don't drink vodka. I drink whiskey and rum. Thank you very much. Or plum wine. which I have a lot of downstairs and I really should drink more of. It's one of those, you know, when your family finds out you like a thing and then suddenly you get like 5 of it for Christmas, and I'm like, I don't really drink that much, and now I have like 3 or 4 bottles of plum wine. What am I to do with this? My dining room is wherever I find food. Fair. Whiskey and rum, like together. Not together! Apart. Preferably with a mixer. I am, in fact, a rum and coke gal. 100% a rum and coke gal. I love me some Morgan Spice. Spiced rum, specifically. Whiskey, rum. Yo, ho, I know! I was a pirate! I am a pirate at heart. Rum in one hand, whiskey in the other. Balanced. The upper part... Dining room. Yes. The upper parts of the Pompeian houses, in most cases, have been completely destroyed. In a few, however, there are traces of a second-story apartment that was probably used as a dining room. One of the houses is in Insula. Low-key gonna go? Good! Go do your work, Longus. If you don't get an A, I'll be disappointed in you. Have a good day. Bye-bye. I customarily eschew partaking of substances within the confines of my chamber, for such a practice may serve as a veritable harbinger of infestation. It's Excel studies? Then excel in those studies, bitch! Still. Excel is important. Everyone still uses, like, you don't like static spreadsheets. Do it. Excel is still used everywhere. Businesses still buy things. They buy bespoke software for things. And then Janice goes and makes a spreadsheet that does exactly the same thing and everyone uses the spreadsheet. Be like Janice. I believe in you. I believe you can conquer those spreadsheets. How about soju, Yakult, and any fruit syrup? Soju, Yakult, and any... It'd be like a milkshake, wouldn't it? Like a rice milkshake. That actually doesn't sound bad, you know? It sounds weird, but not bad. The only piracy I'll be doing is with Souls-like games, because my one's my idea in my future. Excel is excellent. You're in marketing, so it's useful, but generally I just sort of, you know, avoid it. Fair, but you gotta do it. You gotta do it. Spreadsheets are so useful. I used to be a software developer, so I am like the worst person to talk about boring computer things, because that used to be my life. But you got this. Those spreadsheets will not conquer you. You will conquer the spreadsheet. Also, you said you were low-key gonna go, but you're still chatting. Get out of here. Go. Shoo. Work. Do your job. Do your studying. Shoot. Your mum uses... I use Excel for my finances too, like your mum. My dad uses them. I enjoy stalling. Get out of here! I'll block you. I will time you out so that you have to leave. Your fever's gonna start making you loopy, so you're asleep. You were already a wee bit loopy when you started. Howdy. Go to sleep. I hope you feel better when you get up. Don't go outside if you're still feeling shit tomorrow, okay? And bye-bye, Longus. You get your studying done. You be good, okay? Briony says, have no fear, and spread them sheets. Yes, I do. 10 out of 10. Spread them sheets. You pump that pay. Ugh, bless them. Bless these people. Peak Pompeii History of Excel and spreading spreading sheets! Sheets, not cheeks. No one said anything about cheeks, Benjamin. No one said anything about cheeks. Just sheets. Not cheeks. No cheeks. Just sheets. Sheets with cells in them. It is indeed a sort of source of great amusement that thou dost cause thy audience to depart which is not customary for the mannerisms among VTubers. Yeah, I could be all clingy and stuff, but I don't want to get in the way of people's lives. I want to encourage people to look after themselves and do their best at what they need to do. I'm okay. I will be here still. I'll still stream at some other point. They can catch a VOD. I would much rather people be looking after themselves and looking after what is important to them than sticking around with me. I am not as important. VTubers are not as important. They should not be. This episode name is Pompeii Fate Spreadsheets and Yes! We're getting some... We've done maybe 1% of this book. This whole stream. And we're 1 hour and 20 minutes in. Wonderful. One of the houses is the Insula 15 of Region 7, near the Temple of Apollo. It is painted in the second style and dates apparently from the end of the Republic. At the rear of the atrium are 2 rooms and a single passageway leading to the back of the house. Over these was a single... That's right, we should all look after ourselves. Also, here's my rent money for the month. Oh, thank you. Normal size fan, I'm you, sweetie. I appreciate your rent money. You're already a member, though, so I already get rent money from you, but now you just give me more, and I appreciate it. I do. Thank you, is what I mean. Thank you. She gets distracted. Hey, what's my arm doing? It's because my arm's on my desk, and my camera is somewhat picking that up and then somewhat not, so, like, it's very confusing. Very confusing. I could move my little book and you could see my arm freaking out, probably. You just move this. This is what my arm's doing. It looks really weird, doesn't it? Your rent is $5. I was told it was 20 from conversion rates. Your rent is whatever you want to pay. The rent can technically be free. Chat rent can be free. It is all depends on what you want to do. Verily, thou art receiving gratuity for thy role as landlord. Yeah, I am the landlord of this chat. Well, technically YouTube is, but YouTube takes a cut of everything, so I mean, you're paying them regardless. Chat lives rent-free on my screen right now. Some of you live rent-free, some of you pay rent, some of you don't, and that's okay. You pay rent if you want to pay rent. You distracted me. Where the fudge was I? Over these was a single large apartment, closed at the sides and rear, but opening on the atrium in its entire length, along the front, as seen in our restoration. Ran the balustrade connecting the pilasters, ornamented with half columns which supported the roof. In a corner of the atrium at the rear, a narrow stairway led to the second floor. At the right, as our section shows, in this fig, it was a narrow gallery resting on brackets, which connected the upper room at the rear with one in the front of the house. We do love restorations. So, longitude section of the house with a second-story dining room. At the right, vestibule door and faucet with front room above. Then the atrium with the gallery connecting the front room with the dining room. Lastly, the apartments at the rear of the house. In this house style, there was no peristyle. No peristyles here. No Perry the peristyle platypus. The large upper room was so well fitted for a dining room, especially in summer, that we can hardly resist the conclusion that it was designed for this purpose. There is no trace of a kitchen on the ground floor, and for greater convenience, this also was probably placed in the second story behind the dining room. In the fifth region, there was a small dwelling, which afterwards became part of the House of the Silver Wedding. The arrangement of the 2 stories at the rear of the atrium was similar to that just described, except that columns were used in place of pilasters, and there was only the one upper room in the back part of the house. In such cases as this, dining room and upper story might easily have come to be used as synonymous terms. There was a large upper room at the rear of the atrium. No place was left for the high tablinum in a house in the 7th region. The cenaculum was in front. On the front wall of the atrium, one may still see part of the carefully hewn stones on which the columns of the second story rested, and fragments of these columns were found on the floor below. The shops! We've had mention that some of these places had shops built in, like they'd shops built into their homes. What, pray tell, transpires when the esteemed count of 10,000 tomes has pursued completion? What law does this enshrine? So, when I tried to improve my model, give or take about 4 years ago now, so it's been a while, and I still haven't done 1,000 books, I opened a wormhole to the Forbidden Library. And I fell through and I crashed into some books. And then the magical being in the Forbidden Library told me I had to stay as a prisoner until I read 10,000 books and clean up what the mess I made. So I have to read books until I get there. And that's been the theme of the channel so far. Obviously I've read a few, but not many. I've been very kind to myself on what we read, because I counted comic books and stuff like that too, because otherwise I don't feel like I'm gonna get through it. I could just read a shit ton of SCP, which a large number of them are SCP, but we're getting somewhere. We're doing things. But that is my law as a VTuber. I am stuck in the Forbidden Library until I read 10,000 books. I mean, incorporate shops into houses has been practiced since starting of rational civilization. It's still being practiced even today. That's true. I mean, there's like I've seen people have like hairdressers in their thing. SCP, yeah, SCP. I read it, but it was mainly for membership streams, and thingy magic. Patreon streams, I read some SCP. Hyperfixation ranting mode on. Oh no! I triggered something! The shops. I could, wait a minute, let me get. So good thing Longius is gone, because this is the spreadsheet of the books I've read so far. And if we go to type... No, okay, maybe not type. Author. We can put in SCP. And these are all the SCPs I've read that have, like, been on here. So if you're curious... And if SCP is your hyperfixation and you're curious which ones I've read, here it is. Please take screenshot. This has been me. We've done some in-game media, which I should go through and add all the other stuff from Library of Ruina, because I didn't add all of them in the end. I could also read more from Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, technically. There's my short stories that I add in there. Author me. There's Higurashi, but I don't know if I want to read more Higurashi on the channel. There's the book I did an audiobook for that you should all go onto Audible and find. Sorry, I've gotten really distracted now. Oh yeah, and Laura... And we got some webtoons. In essence, we are thus postponing her emancipation by permitting her to engage in idle chatter with us. Yes, kinda. But, you know, it's okay. SCP, severe cooking problems. I do have those sometimes. Mostly when I bake. But you are right, I should get back. Mamma mia, that's a large list of SCPs. So it is 100% still rookie numbers. Absolutely. Agreed. Rookie numbers. The outer parts of the houses fronting on the principal thoroughfares were utilised as shops. On the more retired side streets there were fewer shops, and we often find a facade of masonry unbroken except for the front door and an occasional window. Oh, so this is what a shop would look like! Larger fig, please. Oh, so we got... Number 1's the entrance. Number 2... is counter. Number 3 is the place for a fire. Number 4 is a stairway, and these 2 are back rooms, so they'd be like storage rooms. So I guess they come in here and be like, hello, good sir, I would like some things. And then you would buy things. Tangent triggered. Yapping. Shut up. The shop fronts were open to the street. The counter, frequently of masonry, has in most cases the shape indicated on our plans, being so arranged that customers could make their purchases, if they wished, without going inside the shop. Large jars were often set in it to serve as receptacles for the wares and edibles exposed for sale. Sometimes on the end next to the wall there are little steps on which, as seen in our restoration... Oh, that's cute! Measuring cups and other small vessels were placed. At the inner end we see now and then a depression over which a vessel could be heated, a fire being kindled underneath, as on a hearth. In the wine shops a separate hearth is sometimes found, and occasionally a leaden vessel for heating water. It's like an old cavern. Yeah. Pompeii backrooms. No anomalies in the Pompeii backrooms as far as we know. But do we even know what they look like normally? Do we even know? How's it been an hour and a half already? Time flies. In the houses of the tougher period, the shops, as the front doors, and the rooms about the atrium were relatively high. Those of the house of Caelius Jucundus measured nearly 16 feet. Those of the house of the Faun, 19 feet. The appearance of the latter may be suggested by our restoration. And now we go back. I should have done the thing we said about a thing we could do when we click things, but I didn't do it. The height was divided by an upper floor, 10 or 12 feet above the ground, along the open front, which was a balustrade. The stairs leading to it were inside the shop, on such Pergula Apelles, according to Pliny, was accustomed to display his paintings, and in the digest references is more than one made to cases in which a person passes along the street was injured by an object falling upon him from the second story of a shop. Shops with their upper floors are advertised for rent in one of the painted inscriptions found in Pompeii. Oh, so some of these multi-story houses had shops on the higher floor too. Fascinating. Well, clearly something for Vesuvius erupted. Natural geological forces or ancient Roman attempts to access the backrooms. Clearly one is more likely. More likely than you think. A shop for the sale of edibles. And I'm pretty sure they don't mean the kind of edibles we modernly term that with. In Roman time, I mean they could, who knows. In Roman times, the shops, as the inner rooms of the house, were built lower, and over them small closed rooms were made, which were called by the same name as the open floor, pergola. These rooms were frequently accessible from the street by a stairway, and, in such cases, could be rented separately. In colloquial language, a man whose early life had been passed amid unfavourable surroundings was said to have been born in a room over a shop. Ew. A shop for sale of varieties. Oh, is that not what you think? Yeah. Shops were entered by... Wait, I just clicked while you said brownies and edibles. I didn't even click to begin. She is smart sometimes. Nasus in pergola. It's going straight on my CV. So, you were a man whose early life has been passed amid unfavourable surroundings. That is unfortunate. I hope your surroundings are more favourable now. Shops were entered by means of small doors. In front was closed with shutters. These consisted of overlapping boards set upright in narrow grooves, at the top and at the bottom. A separate set of shutters was provided for the open pergola. Pergola. Better cat me into that. So many of you. Well, like I said, I hope your surroundings are more favourable now. Or that you're working to become a more favourable situation. Walls, floors, and windows! Sounds like an advert. The walls were covered in a thick layer of plaster and painted, the preparation of the stucco. The process employed in painting and the styles of decoration are reserved for discussion in a later chapter. The floors were frequently made of an inexpensive concrete consisting of bits of lava or other stone pounded down into common mortar. A much better floor was the Signia pavement, Opus Signum, so named from a town in Latium. Low-key, surrounded by normies can be a little unfavourable. I feel that sometimes. You just want to be able to be a goofy little guy and not be glared at, okay? While surrounded by fans is surely highly hazardous. Yeah, okay, you need a balance. You need a balance of, like, maybe not a terrifying, fanatical fan, but not someone who's gonna look at you weird for having a little dance by yourself, you know? You know? So you can just tiz them and be yourself. That's what we need. What we need in life. Oh Lord, the eep. It is arriving. The surface was carefully finished and was sometimes ornamented with geometrical or other patterns traced and outlined by means of small bits of white stone. In the tougher period, a floor was often made by fitting together small pieces of stone or marble and bedding them well in mortar. The colours are white and black. Slate is used in the floor of the atrium in the House of the Faun. Sometimes also violet, yellow, green, and red appear with black and white. I want to see the colourful ones. Pavements of square or lozenge shaped, and triangular pieces of coloured marble and slate, like that of the cellar of the Temple of Apollo. Copy. Oh, like that one. Yeah, I remember that. Paste. Heck yeah! We found our way back already. We fished. Are occasionally found in houses. In the time of the early empire, floors paved with larger slabs were not uncommon. It works! Yes, I just have to remember to copy and paste something before I click it. That's the thing. You just gotta like get yourself out of fandoms. If it starts getting that bad, you've just gotta disconnect yourself for a minute and be like, the shippers mean nothing. It's okay. It's okay. The fandom will not affect my enjoyment of something. The fandom will not affect my enjoyment of something. The fandom will not affect my enjoyment of something. It's not easy. I agree. It's not always easy, but you gotta can't let them do that to you. Can't let them do that to you. The mosaics of the Pomanian floors, using the term mosaic in a restricted sense, may be divided into two classes, coarse and fine. In the former, the cubes tesseract are, on the average, a little less than half an inch square. The patterns are somewhat shown in black on a white surface, sometimes worked in colours. The finer variety, in which the pictures appear, is not often extended over a whole room, but is usually confined to a rectangular section in the middle, coarse mosaic being used for the rest of the floor. The windows at the front of the house, as we have seen, were ordinarily few and small. From the tougher period, however, large windows were often made in the rooms around the peristyle. In the house of the Faun, they range in width from 10 to 23 feet, and are so low that one sitting inside could look through them. Upper rooms also were provided with windows of good size, sometimes measuring 2.5 by 4 feet, but the remains are scanty. In later times, occasionally a lower window opening on the street was made almost as large and was protected by an iron grating. That is a long window. Like 23 feet for a window is wild. But I do like the idea of a window you can sit down and look out, because the window's like angle-wise, I can just see the sky out of my window. And maybe a tree or two. But I want to know the street. I want to see the dog walkers. I want to see people parade their dogs past my house, which they do a lot. It's great. People walk dogs a lot. And it's great. And I see many dogs. And it brightens my day. Iron bars. Yeah. Oh, my nose. Oh. Ooh, 23 feet is like 8-9 brownies long. It's 2 and a bit brownies. 5 feet. 5 feet at least. Not many modern British houses that wide. True. Windows were ordinarily closed by means of wooden shutters. Small panes of glass were found in the openings of the baths near the forum. Had the central baths been finished, glass would undoubtedly have been used for the windows of the caldarium. The windows of the tepidarium in the villa of Diomedes was closed by 4 glass panes set in a wooden frame. In the other houses, a narrow pane is occasionally found, but invariably set in masonry. Chapter 34. 45% of the way through this book. House of the Surgeon. The House of the Surgeon is the oldest of the Pompeian houses that retained to the last, with but slight modifications its original plan and appearance. It lies at the right of the Strada Consular, about 50 paces inside the Herculean Gate. The name was suggested by the discovery of several surgical instruments in one of the rooms. The house was undoubtedly built before 200 BC. The facade and the walls of the atrium are of large hewn blocks of Serrano lime. Other inner walls are of limestone framework. The plan conforms to the simple Italic style, before the addition of the peristyle, yet it does not illustrate the oldest form of the native house, for the tablinum has already displaced the recess for the bed opposite the front door. The measures in the rooms are according to the Oscan standard, the atrium being about 30 by 35 Oscan feet. Longus, what are you doing back here? Longus, get out of here. You're supposed to be studying spreadsheets, Longus. What are you doing here? Go spreadsheets. You are studying? Okay. Then why are you talking to me about oats? Talk to me about spreadsheets. That's the only time. I'm going to ignore you unless you talk to me about spreadsheets from here on in. Okay? Okay. We pass directly from the street through the faucets. May I have some oats? No oats for you. No oats for you, Benjamin. Into the Tuscan atrium, at the sides of which are sleeping rooms and 2 allées. Back of the tablinum is a colonnade opening on the garden, which originally had a greater length. The room at the right is a later addition, as also the smaller rooms at the other end. The roof of the colonnade was carried by square limestone pillars, on which has been preserved its original form. Yeah, he's in Twitch chat. So here is our House of the Surgeon. It's a big old house, isn't it? She's multi-platforming. And she had her first payment from Twitch recently. So, like, it's working. Somewhat. Maybe. The oblong room at the right of the tablinum was once square, as both were well adapted for winter dining rooms. In summer, meals were undoubtedly served in the tablinum. The room at the left of the entrance was a shop, at least in later times. The corresponding room on the other side was retained for domestic use. Hello, welcome. We got a raid with a viewer. Welcome to Raider and their viewer. La 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 la. You were racing horses? Of course you were. Who isn't racing? I'm not racing horses. I'm gonna resist. I will resist the horses. I don't wanna. I'm gonna read books instead, like a fucking nerd. Welcome in, Raiders. Please send your gratitude to the Twitch side. Hunted Story from the YouTube side says, welcome, Raiders. I am happy to send messages to and from. If you would like Twitch to hear something, let me know. If you'd like YouTube to hear something, let me know. I will be your go-between. We will connect you from 2 different platforms, and then you will kiss. Mwah. I mean, as long as it's consensual. We don't do non-consensual kissing here. You have to agree. The corresponding room on the other side was retained for domestic use. The shop at the right and the back room, as well as the kitchen with the adjoining rooms at the rear, used as store closets. Hunted says bite of 87 to Twitch. Truly the Pontifex Maxima between YouTube and Twitch. Yes, I am. The shop at the right and the back room, as well as the kitchen with the adjoining rooms at the rear, used as store closets and quarters for slaves, were an addition. 22 is a light court, to which the rainwater was conducted from different paths on the roof. Over these rooms was a second story, reached by stairs leading from the colonnade. It may be that this part of the house took the place of a garden, in which previously there was an outside kitchen, that the ground belonged to the house from beginning is clear from the existence of a door between the rooms 6 and 3, afterwards walled up, and the appearance of the unbroken party wall on this side. The rooms about the atrium had no upper floor, and were relatively high. The doors measured nearly 12 feet in height, and the ceiling of the tablinum was not far from 20 feet above the floor. In respect to height, this house was not unlike those of the next period. In the later years of the city, but before 63, the decoration was renewed in the fourth style. There are paintings of interest, however, only the room at the rear, which had a large window opening on the garden. In one of the panels here, we see a man sitting with a writing tablet in his hand. Opposite him are two girls, one sitting, the other standing. The latter holds a roll of papyrus. This kind of genre picture is not uncommon. The type is spoken elsewhere. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I want to see it. Where's the fig? Where's the fig? There's the fig. So this is part of the same genre. It's not the same picture though. But it's the same genre picture. Group of women, one whom is surrounding two stringed instruments. Da, 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 da. Our control Fs are working! Oh, there it is! It's like literally on the next page. Why did it not? I don't know what happened to my arms. I think it's because it's gotten dark in my room. So again, my tracking is questionable. But it's not as questionable as it was last week at least, so that's good. Hey Rose. In another panel, which was transferred to the Naples Museum, a young woman is represented as painting a herm of Dionysus. A Cupid is holding the unfinished picture while she mixes colours on her palette. Two other maidens are watching the artist with unfeigned interest. Upon the pillar behind the herm hangs a small painting. In the vista, another hern is seen, together with a vase standing on a pillar. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so the Cupid's holding her stuff. Nice. Maiden mentioned. I've been waiting for 6 minutes and no one is a game theory fan on Twitch. No, Twitch side's gotten a bit quiet now. But that's okay. There's only 4 people on Twitch, to be fair. And if they're all lurkers, then that's okay. Just Twitch, it's okay to lurk. The room contained a third picture, which is now almost obliterated. Perhaps this pleasant apartment was once the boudoir of a favourite daughter who busied herself with painting and verse. Oh, that would be fun. I would like a boudoir where I could busy myself with painting and verse. House of Sallust. Which, given the time, we may have to leave the House of Sallust till tomorrow. House of Salad. Sallust. Let's have a look. Oh my god. So... Oh my god, it's huge! Good lords! I would like to be safe for work. House of Potato Salad, yeah. I just... What? Headphones, don't fall off, please. Okay. We will get to the House of Sallust next week. But for now, that is all I have for you. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Thank you, everyone in chat. Thank you, anyone who lurked. Thank you, anyone who watched the VOD. I hope you enjoyed my content, no matter which way you decided to enjoy it. I'm still ignoring you on this. Still ignoring you. If you have not already, I would also highly appreciate it if you could leave a like on the channels. If you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're on Twitch, give the channel a cheeky follow. That'd be lovely. Hunted says goodbye, Twitch side. Just so you know. If you've done that, then I have a Discord. You can keep up with Briony things on the Discord. Studying. Study good, bro. You got this. And if you've done that, and you clicked socials, and if you'd like to, I don't know, money for services, yes. What services? Well, I could draw you some emotes. You can do that on Kofi. You could buy a game from me, a visual novel that isn't very visual. It's more of a choose your own adventure. From Itch.io. There is an audiobook if you like my reading and you would like to listen to me read and not get distracted. You can search Briony Rose Smith on Audible and find an audiobook. I also have many other books. If you go on Amazon or basically anywhere where you would normally buy your books, search Briony Rose Smith and you will find a load of books on there too. A couple of my books don't have physical editions though, so you're probably more likely to find some ebook copies. I have a merch store on my website that has ebooks, first-edition copies of the books that I've written. A bookmark. Twitch side says Dorito. Just so you know, YouTube. Notebook, a pillow, a crochet potato. I have some other crochet goods on Briony Rose Crafts on Etsy, and I think that is all for my shilling, other than membership and Patreon. I think we'll start maybe it's near the end of the month, so start of next month I'll put up a vote on Patreon and members of a few things that I would normally do as a special for exclusives, and you guys can vote, and then that kind of decides what I do. It won't be an exclusive stream, but you guys get to kind of decide what it is. And you guys can give recommendations as to things you would like to see me stream. Because like I said, I don't really have time for exclusive streams anymore, thanks to my new job. Which is a bit pooey, and you guys deserve a bit more, but that's probably one of the best I can do to replace it at the moment until I can think of something even better. So I will start that next month. So if you want to be able to dictate something that I stream at least once a month, then you can join membership or Patreon. Start next month. But for now, gotta get that money somehow, bro. I do. And it's been nice not feeling like I need to push as much on this channel now. Like, I can kind of just enjoy streaming for what it is. I'm still gonna push my shilling a little, because I would still like to do this more if I could. But it's kind of nice that this can be downgraded back to a hobby for a little bit. We're having fun again with my streaming. And thank you, everyone, for making it the fun experience that it is. But for now, that is all. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll be back with some Ace Attorney for tomorrow. My fair lady, if you could do an SCP Foundation stream, I would be indebted to you forever. Fun on YouTube. Is that safe for? Depends on the kind of this kind of fun is. It's just some goobers being goobers. We're having a good time. That's all we need. But I will a handed story. It will probably be one of the options. So SCP is probably gonna be one of the options. It's been my go-to for a while as exclusive. So, but for now, that is all. I see you tomorrow. Thanks for how are today. Yeah. We read and chatted lots and it was great. Cause you know what? I had fun. I hope you had fun. Got a solid round for day's stream. Yeah. I had fun. I hope you had fun. This has been Briony Rose Smith live from the Bin Library and I'll see you tomorrow for some Ace Attorney. Good.